All right. The lasso fill tool is something I want you to practice with. I didn't show it to you yet, but you will probably like it and enjoy coloring with it. I've got the image on the top. You should get used to having it on the top. It's set to multiply so that you can see through it. If it was normal, I wouldn't be able to see through it because it's so white. White and black, so you wouldn't be able to see through the white, but on multiply you can see through it. And then I made the layers for the different colors. I actually didn't make a green layer. I meant, well, I didn't know I was going to use green ahead of time, but I should have known that because there's leaves in it. But anyway, I have a blue, red, and yellow layer. I can always make a green layer, but I'm just using the blue and the red layers for green because I have green on top of green with the multiply, which is kind of nice. So that's what I have. So basically 3 different color layers, blue, red, and yellow, plus there's green on the blue and the red. The lasso fill tool is here in your direct draw tools. There is above it the gradient and below it the divide frame border tool. So it looks like a little lasso loop because it's on the lasso fill tool right now. It has the rectangle tool here, curve tool, straight line tool, a lot of useful things in this section. These are the direct draw tools. Right now I'm on a dark green, so I'll add some more dark green. And I'm on the blue layer. Perhaps we could separate it into, you could probably separate it into cold colors and warm colors. So greens and blues versus like reds and yellows. Maybe the reds and yellows could be on a warm layer. Maybe you could separate it that way. It's good to have a separation though, to do things like that, overlap like what I have. And just to like make corrections, because if I want to fix this, for instance, where I have the red and the yellow together, I'll mess up the yellow if I'm just trying to eliminate some of that red. So I just can go to my red layer, and you can hit C to make transparent pixels. So I can just lasso some of this red stuff off with the C. And actually the yellow is not showing there, but so I can fill it in on the yellow layer. And then I'll hit C again to bring this back. I got chopped off a little bit too much. I'm using green, so I have to undo that, use the eyedropper, press eyedropper that, and I can get the same red again. Okay, and then I'll go back to direct draw tools and my lasso fill. I'm actually going to bring the lasso fill over to my quick access so that I can use it all the time and have it right there. It's very useful. Alright, so now I have the same red, so I can make a correction to that. There it goes. Correction to this. And then if I want to fix the yellow, go to my yellow layer. I can eyedropper the yellow. And then hit, get my lasso fill tool here. And I can try to add to that. There we go. So I'm making the corrections that I need to make. But this is pretty quick and easy. You know, you could still use the magic wand and things like that for this image because there's no open, all the shapes are closed, so it's kind of easier to use the magic wand actually for this image, but I want you to practice using the lasso fill tool because I already showed you the magic wand. So the lasso fill tool, you can be a little bit more creative. So like if I put a little, my blue's above the red, so I'm going to add some red on top of the red to double it up, like what I did on the green leaves. So you can add shapes on top of things. This is very useful for shading. This is kind of a flat designy kind of thing, so shading doesn't matter as much. But you could do things that are kind of like shading. Like there's overlap here, so I could have a shading layer and shade some parts of this flower. I'll just stay on just for one more minute. I think I've showed you everything. I'll stay on for one more minute and I'll color this flower and then I'll do shading. We can add a shading layer. So let me add some yellow. I'm going to eyedropper this yellow. Hit my lasso fill tool and I'm going to do this yellow shape. And then I'll do the red on the red layer, eyedropper tool, select the red, select my lasso fill tool, and then I'll just do this little curved shape in red. Yeah, sometimes you might want to use the magic wand, but I do want you to practice the lasso. Alright, here's where the shading would come in. I'm going to make a shadow layer. I'll put it underneath the line art layer. This top layer is the line art layer. So I'll make a new layer for shadow, label it shadow. And I'm just going to shade with gray. Set to multiply. It'll create shading. And then I'll do my lasso fill tool. So I'm kind of copying or matching the curve of the petal above this petal. That's the one to the right. And going up the edge. And there we are. So there's a shading layer. It looks a little bit rough. I can smooth it out here. There's also these aliasing things, like right in the middle is where is a good place for it. If it goes far to the right, it'll be smoother. We can try that. It's more about the edge, about the pixelation on the edge. So it's less pixelated on the edge like that. But as far as the smoothing that I was talking about, I was thinking more of like using a soft-edged eraser to kind of fade it out on the edges of a shadow like this. That's a nice thing to do if you're going to do shadows. You can always change the opacity if it seems like it's too dark. So this is my shadow layer. You want to put all your shadows on the shadow layer. Sometimes you'll have 2 shadow layers, but I think for this, if you do it, just one is probably enough. So I made it much more subtle by lowering the opacity down to like 50% from what I had. It's all going to depend on how it looks, what you do. So yeah, this could be a lot of fun. This is like a coloring book page, so you can just have fun coloring, practice using the lasso tool, and show me next Thursday. All right. Bye.